Hello and welcome everyone to the Mindset Matters web event video that we're going to be having August 3rd. As some of you know, my name is Sandra Rojo. I'm a mindset strategist coach, and I have my friend and colleague Diane Downward from Australia. She's an emotional health coach, and we are excited to have a brief discussion about the upcoming web event. And I want to begin by saying that many times there are times in our life where we feel that we actually don't always attract what we want in our life. And there are many obstacles sometimes that people may face when they're trying to create a better future, like fear of failure or maybe lack of clarity. That seems to be something that's difficult because sometimes, and Diane, you can jump in with this one, sometimes we have a lack of clarity because we are living through the expectations of other people. And then, of course, we have the classic procrastination or just a negative mindset. So, Diane, tell them a little bit about some of these potential obstacles or delays in creating a better future and what you have noticed as well as a coach.
Well, we talk about affirmations, and we can say an affirmation over and over and say, "Oh, I'm so happy, I'm so happy." But if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter how often you say it. So the thing about that is we've got to find out what the links are to that belief. Why don't we believe it? And I found that affirmations have a much better outcome. That's Noah St. John. That's something I've learned, is where you're actually asking a question. Why am I so happy? Or how am I so happy? Or what would it take to be happy? And your mind kind of does a Google search looking for all the reasons that you could be happy. So it's focusing on more on the positive and saying, yeah, actually, I have done this before. So I can be happy. Um, but you still need to find those links, perhaps, as to why you mightn't be happy. It could be a bad memory you've got that you keep going back to. So, yeah, changing your languaging, I think, is really important. What we say to
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, exactly. Who has
Mm.
been an inspiration for you when it has come to actually going into more of what perhaps new agey sort of law of attraction or attracting just what you want or positive thinking for the future?
Well, I found Neville Goddard has been good, and he's he was probably New Age back in the 40s,
That's beautiful.
and he talks about the feelings, and that's how we communicate with our subconscious. So it's feeling as though this has already happened, and one of his things is to say, go to sleep in the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. So you put yourself into the future and you're feeling as though this has already happened. Another one is Jeanette Moore wrote a book about prey rain journaling, and that's another thing that we can do a similar thing. So, what about you, Sandra? What's
You know,
been?
I would have to say that I've been sort of vocal about it in other videos and in the past that I haven't necessarily been. I mean, I read all the books of I'm not going to mention the names just out of respect, but sort of law of attraction books and trying to do some of the practices. And I haven't always been a fan because, like I said in a previous video, I would maybe get results, but it felt very short-lived, if you will. And I didn't understand a lot of mechanisms or other ways of like the feeling as much or practicing. I would say really, well, actually, you've been an inspiration to me in the last year and a half, really just helping me and giving me the direction of how to, future pace and the importance of it, right? We learned in neuroplasticity and in different modalities that sometimes that can be a hindrance in itself. We sort of adopt this subconscious sort of identity. But I would say that Neville Goddard, and I've really been a lot involved with Joe Dispenza. I think Joe
Mm,
Dispenza, who
mm.
piggybacks, it seems, off of some of Neville's work. It sounds like Neville, like he was the father of it all.
I don't know when Napoleon Hill came into it, but he's another one that wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, I think it was, wasn't
Okay.
it?
Think and
Um,
Grow Rich.
yeah, another one the first one I read was Florence Scovel Shinn, and she had a client. She's in the 40s too, I think, and she had somebody who came in and said, "Oh, I've got to go into the bank." And when I went in there was a ladder, and she was superstitious. So, and she had to go to the bank. So when Florence did whatever she did, she went back to the bank and the ladder was no longer there. So the thing is, when the fear is gone, the problem doesn't show up anymore. And that's we always fear is trying to keep us safe, but really, if there is no fear, there isn't a problem.
Right, right.
But
Well,
yeah,
that's wonderful. Yeah, I really like it. So tell the audience a little bit, our viewers, what they're going to be learning. You talked about that. I know we're going to be doing the be, do, have. We're going to be talking about
yeah.
goal setting.
Well, the pro rain journaling, I can show them how to do that, and that's the power of the written word. Um, Again, putting yourself in the future and writing about it. The other one I think is quite powerful is actually saying it as if you were telling somebody in the future. So, 6 months down the track, and you're talking about how things have changed for you and what you did. And um, so putting the feeling into it when you get excited about what's happened, and telling somebody else. So, but you can do that with yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes when I'm out walking, I might do something
right.
like that and
Then you
have a
can do something like
conversation in the car with myself and say,
right,
wasn't that fantastic?
right. Exactly.
Mm,
And achieving the goals brings obviously a lot of benefits. One of the benefits is clearly personal fulfillment. Um, we can have the increased confidence. Last year, you were telling me a lot about Neville Goddard, and I started to do a lot more research, really paying attention um, to really how we're saying it and what we're saying,
mm,
and I think that definitely increases the confidence. And I think just overall, it has a positive impact. I would imagine not just for ourselves, but for the relationships that we have around us, don't you think?
mm. Especially when you're saying things like "I want" or "I need" or you feel needy, that means you're lacking it. Want means lack. So the more you wanting it means it's not there. You're going to forever want it. So same with trying and I can't, and
Yeah.
but it's just being aware of it and starting to pick yourself up on some of that languaging, I think, too.
Is there a belief that you actually changed that was pivotal for your life, Diane?
Yeah, a big one for me was the belief that I was always wrong. But there was a time when a teacher asked me a question and I didn't have an answer for it. So I went into the fight or flight, the freeze. Every time I went to that memory, my chin was on my chest. I had no answer. So for a long time, teachers intimidated me, and I couldn't answer questions, and I'd second guess myself. So once that changed, and I somehow my subconscious changed me into being the teacher, and yeah, then I started doing a lot of these things
Yeah,
where I had so much more confidence.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, you are a good teacher. Again, it is August 3rd from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time, USA. And I'll be
And
sharing the link below. Yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, in Australia, it's 5 a.m., so Australian Central Time.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you can't come on live or it's too early for you, make sure you
Get the
yeah
replay.
can
Yeah, we're going to have
still.
the replay
Mm,
available. So you can still purchase it and then you can send us an email. Remember to share with your friends and family. Even if you may not be interested, you might want to gift this web event to someone, and you share the link with anyone that might benefit from it. And Diane, is there any last thing that you would like to add?
no, I'm just thinking that's a really good idea. Someone that wants to do it, and may not think of it. It's a great present for someone who's got everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, you guys, we will see you then August 3rd. Any questions, you can email us and we'll be providing all that information. All right, see you then. Take care.